Hello and a warm welcome to all of you. In the last lecture we started with properties of light and we are seeing the first property of light, that is refraction of light. Let's revise what we studied in the last lecture. We saw what is refraction of light, the definition of light, the bending of light when it travels from one transparent medium into the other is called as refractions. Then we saw the laws of refraction. First law, incident ray, refracted ray and normal lie on the same plane. Second law, incident ray and refracted ray lie on opposite sides of the normal. And the third law, for a given pair of media, the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to sine of angle of refraction is a constant. This law is called as the Snell's law and the constant is called as refractive index. We also saw that when a light ray travels from a rarer medium to a denser medium, the light ray bends towards normal. And when a light ray travels from a denser medium to a rarer medium, the light ray bends away from normal. Now, this is one practical example which shows refraction of light. The figure shows a coin at the bottom of a glass. The glass is filled with water, but the coin appears to be elevated. That's because the light rays traveling from the coin towards the eye bend at the water-air interface and the coin appears to be much above the actual position it is at. Let's see another example. A pencil is immersed in a glass which is partially filled with water. The pencil appears to be broken at the water-air interface. This is because the light rays traveling from the pencil to the eye bend at the water-air interface, and so the pencil appears to be misplaced. Here the figure shows the light rays coming from the pencil bend at the air-water interface before entering into the eye, and hence here the figure shows that the pencil appears virtually at a different position than it is actually at. Now we will see the refraction of light through a glass slab. This is a glass slab through which we are going to study the refraction of light as it passes through it. Here the figure shows the refraction of a light ray through a glass slab. A, B, C, D, the blue rectangle shows the outline of the glass slab. Incident ray PQ is incident at point O. Mn is the normal at the point O, which is the point of incidence. Incident ray makes an angle I with the normal, which is the angle of incidence. Now, at point O, the incident ray is going to change the medium. It is going to pass from air to glass, that is, it is going to go from a rarer medium to a denser medium. Hence, according to the law of refraction, the light ray will bend, it will refract towards the normal. The light ray travels as the refracted ray OO'. At point O', the light ray is again at an interface between two media. Now the light ray is traveling from glass to air, that is, it is traveling from a denser medium to a rarer medium, and hence the light ray will bend away from normal. In the absence of the glass slab, the incident ray would have gone straight, but As the light ray passes through the glass slab, it emerges as ray RS. Ray RS is called as the emergent ray, and hence the angle made by the emergent ray with the normal is called as the angle of emergence. The angle made by the refracted ray with the normal is the angle of refraction. Thus, the refraction through a glass slab brings about a lateral shift in the direction of the light ray. Now, after the refraction of light through a glass slab, we shall see the refraction of light through a glass prism. The screen shows a glass prism through which we are going to study the refraction of light. Thus, the light ray experiences refraction at 2 points, that is, at E and F, as it passes through the prism. The angle made by the refracted ray with the normal is called as the angle of refraction, whereas the angle made by the emergent ray RS with the normal is the angle of emergence. In the figure, the incident ray is extended further up to point H, whereas the emergent ray is extended backwards up to point G to meet the incident ray. The angle between the direction of the incident ray and the direction of the emergent ray, denoted by D in the figure, is called as the angle of deviation. In the absence of the prism, the incident ray PQ would have travelled straight to point H, but because the prism is in the path of the incident ray, the ray gets refracted twice and emerges as the emergent ray RS. Thus, the incident ray is deviated through an angle D, which is called as the angle of deviation. This angle of deviation is important, which is defined as it is the angle between the direction of incident ray and emergent ray. The face through which the emergent ray emerges is called as the face of emergence, that is AC. The angle between face AB, face of incidence, and face AC, the face of emergence, denoted by A in the figure, is called as the refracting angle of the prism or just angle of the prism. The face BC, which is opposite to the angle of the prism, is called as the base of the prism. It is observed practically that if the angle of incidence is changed, there is a corresponding change in the angle of deviation. Now, this change of angle of deviation with the change in angle of incidence can be shown graphically. The graph here shows the variation of angle of deviation with changes in the angle of incidence. The angle of incidence is shown on x-axis, while the angle of deviation on the y-axis. So it is clear from the graph that for a very small value of angle of incidence, the angle of deviation is large. As we gradually increase the angle of incidence, the value of angle of deviation begins to drop down. Now the angle of deviation drops down to a minimum value for a particular angle of incidence, which is shown as I in the figure. If angle of incidence is increased beyond I, instead of decrease in the angle of deviation, the angle of deviation begins to rise again. So there is a minimum value for the angle of deviation. This angle of deviation having minimum value is of great significance. The minimum value of angle of deviation is called as angle of minimum deviation, denoted by delta m in the figure. Now coming back to this figure, if the angle of deviation is delta m, this is a special case for the refraction of light through a prism. If the angle of deviation is minimum, the angle of incidence equals angle of emergence, and the refracted ray passing through the prism, that is ray EF, runs parallel to the base BC, and the angle of refraction for both the rays is equal. As you can see in the figure here, except for delta m, all the other values of angle of deviation delta have two angle of incidences, out of which one is angle of incidence while the other is the angle of emergence. But if the angle of deviation corresponds to delta m, angle of minimum deviation, it has only one angle of incidence. You have to remember, if I is equal to E, then delta is equal to delta m, and the refracted ray EF runs parallel to the base of the prism. In the next lecture, we shall derive the prism formula.